They say money is neutral, just a tool, just a number, just a medium of exchange. But that's not how you feel when you can't sleep because of it. It's not how your chest tightens when the rent is due, or how your shoulders sink when your card is declined. Money is never just money, it's a mirror, and it reflects everything you've been taught to believe about yourself. That's why some people fear it, why some worship it, why some sabotage it over and over the moment it gets too close. See, no one teaches you how to understand money. They just tell you how to chase it. Get a job, get a raise, get a better job, retire. But you're not told the truth. That money doesn't just take your time, it takes your life energy, your mental space, your relationships, your ability to breathe with ease. You earn a paycheck, and you think you're winning. But what if you didn't notice what you were? Losing, you get a bonus and lose a weekend. You pick up extra shifts and miss a season with your kids. You say yes to a better title and slowly forget how to laugh. That's not balance. That's sacrifice disguised as success. But we don't question it because everyone else is doing the same thing. And calling it adulthood. You grow up hearing it in whispers and warnings. Money doesn't grow on trees. You have to work hard to survive. We can't afford that. And slowly, your mind begins to write the story for you. A story where money is the villain, or the savior, or the prize, but never the reflection, never the lesson, never the quiet revealer of what you truly value. So you chase. Not because you're greedy, but because you're scared. Because somewhere along the way, you were convinced. If you don't have it, you'll be left behind. If you stop moving, you'll fall. And what happens next is almost invisible. You start measuring your worth in numbers. You stop asking why you want more and just focus on how to get more. You begin working harder, not smarter, spending more, but feeling less, living faster, but sinking deeper. You stop feeling like a person and more like a machine. Efficient, exhausted, optimized for output. Because the system never asked you to be fulfilled. It just asked you to produce. And the more tired you get, the more money you spend trying to feel alive again. Fast food, streaming, weekend escapes, new clothes, new distractions, anything to dull the ache of a life that keeps you running in place. But money can't fix that ache. Because it isn't caused by lack of income. It's caused by lack of intention. They told you to save, but they never told you what you're actually saving for. So you tuck away dollars in a dusty account with no purpose attached. Just fear. Fear of not having. Fear of needing. Fear of something breaking, outside or inside. But fear is not a foundation. It crumbles under pressure. What no one teaches you is that money is emotional. It carries stories. Not just your own, but your parents', your culture's, your society's. You inherit these stories like, silent rules, rich people are cold. Spending means freedom. Saving means suffering. Talking about money is rude. Wanting more means you're ungrateful. So you carry this silent war inside you, a tug of war between desire and guilt, between responsibility and rebellion. You buy the coffee even though you're broke, because it gives you 5 minutes of control in a world that feels out of your hands. You avoid checking your bank account because ignorance feels safer than shame. But the cost of money isn't just what leaves your wallet, it's what it steals from your clarity, from your peace, from your self-respect. And worst of all, you start to think that money is the cause of the pain. It's not. It's the mirror. The pain was always there. Money just made it visible. Think about this. Every time you make a purchase, you're not just spending money. You're trading your life energy, your time, your attention, your health. A $20 dinner isn't $20. It's an hour of your life, maybe more. An hour you'll never get back. An hour you could have used to rest, read, build, or simply breathe. We don't see the cost because we've been trained not to. Swipe, tap, move on. It's fast, it's clean, it's disconnected, but behind every transaction is a story, a compromise, a decision made in silence. We tell ourselves, it's just a little treat. I deserve this. I'll figure it out later. But later always comes, and with it the weight of invisible debt, not just financial, but emotional, mental, spiritual. You feel tired but don't know why, anxious but can't trace the root, lost but still moving, because modern life teaches you how to spend, but not how to value. Value your time, value your choices, value your direction. Money is not just a tool, it's a compass, but only if you learn how to read it. When you spend without intention, you walk in circles, but when you spend with awareness, you walk towards something real. Ask yourself this: what does money mean to you? Not what they told you, not what your job pays, not what your bank shows, but what it really means to you. For some, it means safety. For others, freedom. For others, still, power, or shame, or love. Yes. Love. Because many were only hugged when the bills were paid, only praised when gifts were exchanged, only noticed when the wallet opened, so they chase money not for joy, but for attention, for acceptance, for a feeling of being enough, and when they can't earn enough, they feel like they aren't enough. But here's the truth: no one tells you. Money cannot carry your identity. It's not strong enough. If you attach your worth to your income, you'll be bankrupt the moment life shifts. If you attach your peace to your savings, you'll live in fear every time the market moves. If you attach your happiness to what you can buy, you'll be miserable the moment the excitement fades. That's not wealth, that's dependency. Real wealth begins when you separate who you are from what you have, and from that still place, you start to build again. Not out of fear, not out of pressure, but out of truth. There's a silent war happening in most wallets, a tug between the present, you, and the future you. The present you wants ease, comfort, gratification, the dinner out, the new shoes, the latest gadget. But the future you? It wants space, stability, peace. And here's the paradox. Every time you give in to the now, you steal from the later. You buy time today and pay interest with your tomorrow. But the interest isn't just financial. It's emotional, stress, regret, insecurity. That quiet, gnawing sense that you're falling behind, you don't need a spreadsheet to feel it. You just know. And still, you swipe, you scroll, you spend, not because you're weak, but because the world is designed to keep you empty. Every ad whispers the same message. You're not enough. Buy this, and maybe you will be. But fulfillment doesn't come from adding more. It comes from needing less, from slowing down long enough to ask, why do I want this? Not to punish yourself, but to understand yourself. Because every purchase is a vote, a message to your future. What are you telling it? Are you building a life of reaction or a life of intention? The difference is subtle. But it's everything. Most people don't realize this, but the most expensive things you'll ever pay for aren't things at all. They're missed opportunities, unmade decisions, dreams delayed. You think overspending on coffee or shoes is the problem. But the real cost, it's the business you never started because you were too focused on looking successful instead of becoming free. It's the course you skipped because you didn't want to waste money, but you waste time every day scrolling, doubting, waiting. It's the vision you had at 19, buried under debt at 29, and forgotten by 39. Not because life forced you to let it go, but because your money habits built a different road. Every dollar is a direction. Spend it without thought, and you end up somewhere you never meant to be. We call it life happening. But often it was just budgeting without purpose, living without alignment. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have a 6-figure income. You just have to be awake. To ask, does this move me forward? Does this align with who I want to become? And if the answer is no, you pause, you breathe, you choose again. Because freedom isn't loud, it's quiet, it's in the tiny yeses, the subtle no's, and in the patience to let the real reward grow. There's a concept they never taught you in school, and yet it shapes every financial decision you'll ever make. Opportunity cost. Every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. Not just in money, but in time, energy, focus. You buy the $50 jacket? You just said no to $50 invested. You scroll for 2 hours? You just said no to learning a skill that could have changed your path. You upgrade your car? You might have just delayed your freedom by another year. It sounds dramatic, but it's not. It's math, it's attention, it's reality. The rich understand this. They measure the real cost, not just the price tag. That's why they often seem frugal. Not because they're stingy, but because they've learned to count differently. They don't just ask, "Can I afford this?" They ask, "What? Am I giving up to have this?" Because every yes is also a no, and the difference between struggling and succeeding often comes down to which yeses you protect. Protect your yeses. Guard your attention. Respect your time like it's money, because it is. And if you learn to think this way, you'll start to see what really costs too much. Here's something strange. People who struggle the most with money are often the ones working the hardest for it. They sweat. They sacrifice. They show up every day. But the game feels rigged. Like no matter how much they earn, it's never enough. Not because they're lazy, not because they're broken, but because they were never shown the rules. They were taught how to make money, but not how to manage it, not how to protect it, not how to multiply it. So they live in a loop. Earn, spend, stress, repeat. And the system profits from that loop. It sells you what you can't afford, charges interest when you fall behind, makes you feel like you're failing, when really you were just misinformed. But here's the power. When you learn the rules, you can stop playing the wrong game. You can step off the treadmill and start building a road. One paved with clarity, discipline, strategy. Not big wins, but small shifts. Not waiting for rescue, but learning to row. Because the real cost of money isn't just in what you spend, it's in what you don't know. And knowledge. That's the most valuable currency you can collect. So here's the truth, simple and quiet. You don't need more money to feel wealthy. You need more awareness. The real cost of money isn't the receipt. It's the regret. It's the direction your habits take you. It's the dreams you put on. Pause because no one taught you to press play. But now you know, you've seen the shadows behind the system. You've heard the voice that asks, "What am I really paying for?" And that voice, that question, is your freedom knocking. Answer it. Not with guilt, not with panic, but with presence. Start where you are. Count not just your dollars, but your decisions. Track not just your expenses, but your excuses. Ask, not what you can afford, but what you're allowing. And from this moment forward, spend with your future in mind. Speak like someone building wealth. Think like someone rewriting the script. Because you are. And you don't need anyone's permission to change the story. You just need a pen and a little courage to draw a different ending. If this made you pause, maybe it's time to subscribe. Not just to a channel, but to a new way of thinking.